not joining. So we're gonna wait for our...
I got it where I wanted at 35 psi. Now this may be a little high. Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Defiant Jeep. Today we got another treat for V-Notch. In fact, V-Notch is the Jeep that we'll be working on today. V-Notch is actually owned by my wife Patty, who owns V-Notch on YouTube, and she's also a trail leader with our club, Desert Wranglers. And she's going to go on venturing on her own tomorrow on a ladies only trip, which is kind of a bummer. That means I don't get to see how the ladies perform unless she records, which would be pretty neat. But Patty, or V-Notch, as they've been going on the trails all this time for as long as we've been off-roading here in Las Vegas, she's always had a handheld radio, whether it be a Midland or a Baofeng, or whatever it is. It's a walkie-talkie. It's still a GMRS, just a handheld type. So today, we're going to actually install for her the Midland 275, or the MXT 275, which is pretty much the same setup I have on the Defiant. Additionally, we're going to go ahead and improve the antenna. We're not going to use the 2.5 decibel antenna that comes with the kit. We actually opted to select or pick up the 6 decibel antenna, which is the same one on the Defiant. We picked up a 6-meter aux cable or Coax cable for the GMRS radio, and we picked up this really cool little bracket. So instead of mounting the antenna on the spare tire mount, this little bracket right here, we're going to install it on the driver's side near the hood. We're going to go ahead and take advantage of a couple other items while we have here, of course, other supplies. Like for the way we're going to mount, we're going to use this 15-pound Velcro tape where we're going to hide the, what do they call it? Micro mobile receiver for the GMRS. So the only thing that's going to be exposed is the actual mic that has all the controls on it. And of course, it's a cable that leads to the micro mobile base unit itself. And aside of that, it should be a fairly easy install. It just takes a little bit of time to route all the wiring and whatnot. But we're also going to use a 10mm socket for some areas that we have to access. We're going to use a T40, a Torx bit to remove the cowl panel on the driver's side. And we're going to probably wind up using some extra red and black wire for power source and ground. But we'll see how that gets to when we get to it. Of course, we're also going to use some zip ties for cable management. So at this point right here, we are ready to go with our parts. Let me go ahead and prepare V-Notch, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so as you notice, I took a second to go ahead and open the hood of V-Notch because I am going to use the engine cabin area for whatever small moment it's going to be, and I just have it on the ready just so I know I'm still working here. But while I got your attention, I did manage to, or I was going to anyways, but I went ahead and I unboxed the micro mobile head unit, and this is pretty much what you're looking at. It is a small GMRS micro mobile unit that fits in the palm of your hand, and this is strictly a base unit. You actually have a USB-C port. This is one of the newer models. The previous model has a regular USB or USB-A, if you know, all you IT nerds out there know what an A is, which is a regular USB port. But this one definitely has been updated. You have the, looks like an Ethernet port, and that's where your micro mobile controller is going to plug into, where the handheld mic actually has all the controls on here. So it's going to make it very convenient to have only this exposed and hide this unit. And it's got a lengthy cable on it that's coil wound, so it's like not going to get in the way and it'll still tighten itself up when it has to. And while I'm here, inside the kit, of course, you're gonna have your user's manual. You're gonna have a hanger for the mic. It does have an adhesive backing. We're actually not gonna use this. Patty, my wife, she has a different idea for the mic. And I'll mention that later when we display the mic, and of course, it's gonna probably poke a little fun. But you know what, I'm gonna keep this for future reference, or in case I need that part. I'm gonna hide that in my toolbox, and my wife won't get to see it until she watches this video, then she'll get mad. Alrighty, inside the package, it also comes with this 2.5 decibel antenna. Now, this is tiny, it's got a magnetic bottom on it, and you can pretty much mount this anywhere, not necessarily on the Jeep, because a lot of panels are aluminum, but the bolts are still steel. It'll stick very well to a steel bolt. But since we're going with the 6 decibel antenna, we're gonna go ahead and just put this to a side. We're not even gonna look at it. If someone needs a spare antenna, if I have it with me, you know, have at it. I'll probably let them have it. You know, it's not one of those things I'm gonna say, hey, you know, that was 20 bucks. I'm not like that. I don't do that. If I can help out somebody and I have it, here you go, keep it. We'll put that one to the side also. And of course, it comes with an extra fuse and 2 sheet metal screws, and that would be for the power source. The power source itself, with this connector, plugs into the micro mobile unit, but the other end plugs into a cigarette lighter. Now, this is great if you're gonna do the temporary thing and move it in and out of your vehicle and not have to worry about it. That's not the direction we want to go into. We're actually gonna go ahead and do a permanent mount. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually snip off the cigarette lighter part. I'm going to separate the red and the black, and I'm going to splice more wire just to have enough to route myself all the way to the battery, which is why I'm going to connect it. I've done this before on Define and other vehicles, and there are several different ways of seeking the ground, but I've noticed that if you connect directly to the battery, you get less radio noise or interference than putting it on the ground somewhere on the body or the chassis, or splicing into other cabling that as soon as you turn off the switch, everything automatically turns off. And that's a wonderful idea, don't get me wrong. I'm still not going in that direction. The only thing that Patty has to remember is turn off the GMRS before she gets out of the vehicle, because it will be directly connected to the battery. Now, if I haven't mentioned this before, any GMRS battery, any GMRS radio, by FCC rules, you have to register, you have to get a license. I can leave you a link below. I believe it's fcc.gov. I have to double check that. But these are appliances that you do need a license. Now, the license is inexpensive. Currently today, what is today? September 9th. Today is September 9th. So I know this video is a little behind. I've had so much stuff going on. But the license is only $35. It covers you for 10 years. And if you and all your family members are trailing together, that license covers you and your family. You know, so it's like if you have several GMRS radios, and let's say dad is the only one that's licensed, but mom and, you know, adult children, everybody's trailing in their own vehicles and they all got their own radios. As long as one person's got that license, it covers the family. So that would be me. Define has it, I have it. That means Patty and V-Notch are covered. All right. So my idea for this is I'm going to mount this under the dash to hide the micro mobile. And then I'm going to run the coax from the back of the unit and the power leads from the passenger side under the dash up along the driver's side, along the fuse panel, not fuse to the panel, but up along the fuse panel up into the firewall. We're going to try and make it like that so we can try and make an easy connection with as minimal amount of lead or cable or wire as possible. So let's go ahead and get all prepped. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is, because this is a nice flat area, where is it? I am going to use this double-sided Velcro, which according to advertised, it pulls up to 15 pounds. Like, there's no way this is 15 pounds. And the strip itself is a 2x4, which is a perfect fit for this area right here. So honestly, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to get some rubbing alcohol on a paper towel, and I'm just going to disinfect the area. I'm going to get all the debris, all the contaminants off of this, so this has a good surface to stick on without adhering to any dirt, debris, or anything else, just the metal. So I think that's where we're going to go. As a matter of fact, I can do that for you right now. Because just like other adhesives, it is going to need some time to settle, you know, and you know, kind of like, I don't know if y'all saw my video with me changing the differential oil on Defiant and putting on those metal coat diff covers. Even the RTV, the room temperature vulcanization silicone, it said give it about 5 minutes to vulcanize. And I did that. You know what? I have not had any leaks. It's wonderful. I am very, very happy that I went in that direction. So again, just like any other responsible installer, I'm going to follow the rules again. So let's go ahead and let's just clean that off. Alrighty. We're going to let that dry. Actually, that may be a little wet. Just a little. So let's get a dry paper towel. I like these blue shop towels, and you can get them almost anywhere with this automotive product. Yeah, so that's good. There. Velcro. Now I may have mentioned this, I may have not. Anything that I'm using today, like the Velcro strips, the GMRS, the Midland Micro Mobile, the antenna, the Coax cable, I can leave you a link. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you a link on the description below. In case you're interested in these items, you have a direct source on where to get them. You don't have to search, hunt, try and figure it all out. I'll provide you the link for every item, and they all work together, so you're not going to have an issue with it. That is for sure, because I use it. I've been using it. And like I said, this is not my first setup. As I mentioned, this is the same setup I have on Defiant, so it's not going to be an issue. Alrighty, so as I mentioned, the strip itself is a 2x4 or 4x2, whatever they want to mention, and is the perfect size for this area right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and perfect. Look at that. Now, in the future, I'm going to feel super foolish if this does not work out for me. I'll have to find a different method of fastening this to where I want it. Or if I have to relocate it, the micro mobile may be exposed. So we're going to try and prevent that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let this settle. Let me double check something here. And I know I seem kind of a geek about it, but what did I do with it? I thought I threw it over here somewhere. Anyway, yeah. Man, I just lost it. I can't believe it. I just had it in my hand. Oh, here it is. Third eye blind over here. Let me see what it is. Professional group here. Let me see. Custom, perfect, rough surfaces, including brick and concrete, for perfect outdoor use on rough or uneven surfaces. That already makes me feel comfortable. I'm cool. All right, we're gonna let it be. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and let this settle for about 5 to 15 minutes, whatever it says. I'm gonna show you the area that we're going to go ahead and mount this, and we're also going to clean that area. So let me go ahead and get you all relocated, and we'll get right in there. Okay, so as our plan had intended, we're going to go through the passenger side, and this is just going to be where we're going to hide it. Get a little bit of a mess out of the way because I'm constantly working here. So this right here on the passenger side. Now my first initial idea was to put it right here, which it fit, it works. I had it, the bracket low enough where it did not hit your knees. It wasn't in the way of anything else here, and the glove box still open. But Patty would like to be a bit more discreet about it. So we're gonna go from this under area right here. Let me see if I can get a better shot. Okay, so right here is directly under the dashboard on the passenger side. Now the glove box is right here. If you can see my hand, it's right here. We're going to try and use this flat area. Now there's more than enough area right here where we can mount the micro mobile. So I'm going to go ahead and clean out that area. And of course, I'm going to do the same thing with the rubbing alcohol and clean it off, disinfect it, get all the contaminants off of it. And we're going to go and let that settle. Let me go ahead and get started here. Alrighty, so I got my alcohol impregnated cloth, or my shop towel. and all I'm doing is cleaning up contaminants. Now this one right here I was very concerned about, because the amount of off-roading that we do, and Patty is more nature oriented than I am, and what that means to me is she likes to roll with the windows open. So I rubbed that down with that first paper towel that was very wet with rubbing alcohol. I'm going to use a dry paper towel just to kind of soak up the alcohol that's there. Alcohol is going to evaporate, but if I need it faster, that's the way to do it. Alrighty, so I think that is where we're going to be. Let's go ahead and get that micro mobile and apply it. Alrighty, so I got my micro mobile, here it is. Now I still have the backing on there for the adhesive. I want to make sure that it's all still clean and whatnot. Okay, so now I am going to peel off the backing to expose the glue. Let me get this off so that's not jacking the whole thing up. This would be wonderful. Okay, there we go. Now remember guys, this is, be very careful. It is practically a one-shot deal. You want to be very mindful how you apply it. And I hope I get this done the first time, because I don't want to hear my wife. I love her to death, but I don't want to hear it. Oh, and if you notice right here, the way I have the radio mounted on the bracket, the speaker is exposed. This has a wonderful feature that you can either use this speaker here on the base, or the speaker on the mic itself, where all the controls are. They have two ways of doing it. Okay, so that's on there. Oh, that's wonderful. What I'm doing right now is I'm just applying a little pressure. Just like anything else, you maybe want to hold it for about 10 seconds to at least let the settlement start. And of course, I'm going to do as the instruction says, let it wait a few minutes, and I'll take it from there. But as I'm feeling around, it's not obstructing anything. I am right here. This is my power lead, and then okay, this is the connector for the coax cable. Nothing's in the way, and I still have access to the Ethernet port where the mic is plugged into. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to route all the wiring right behind here. I'm going to go under the carpeting. Oh, that's wonderful. It's a great idea. Let me go ahead and let me show you what's going on with that. Alrighty, so right here where the radio is mounted, okay, I got a good image of it right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cable, I'm going to hide it and tuck it back there. And I'm going to do the same with the coax cable. So what I'm going to do here is this area right here, this pops out. So I can actually pull all this carpeting. There's going to be a bracket that's exposed under here. In fact, let me show it to you right now. And let's just pull it out from under there. This bracket, these two are 10 millimeter. There's one on each side. Ooh, I didn't consider that. I have to find out what size that is. I'll take that off. But this bracket and the one on the other side, those come off, and those allow a wonderful access port to run the wire from the passenger side to the driver's side. Let me go ahead and figure out what size this fastener is, and we'll get it started. In the meantime, we're going to let the glue settle so that the Velcro doesn't move or pop out of place. Okay, so I found out that this larger one right here, it's actually a 16 millimeter, so we're going to use a 16 millimeter socket on that. And I'm trying to hold the carpet down over here so it doesn't interfere with the camera. Let's see how fast we can get this guy off. Let's go ahead and adjust my ratchet. Alright, that wasn't bad at all. Get off now. Alright. It wasn't difficult to loosen up at all, so at this point right here, I can just take it off with my finger. Now remember, this is just a bracket, so it's not going to be a big deal. Let me go ahead and change that socket. Let me go ahead and put on my 10 millimeter now. We're going to do this top one first. This one's a little tighter. Now, yeah, it could be a whole lot easier if you had like a electric drill or something like that. But you know, at the same time, I'm not trying to ruin it. It's my wife's Jeep. I'm sure I would do it without ruining it. I just don't want to hear it. These are actually pretty tight. My goodness. Okay, there it goes. that one. Now let's get the smaller one, which that was a screw. This one right here is a nut. Ooh, I may have just loosened it enough. The other one. There it is. Okay, so that's out, and your bracket's out, and that's really what it is. Now, alrighty, so we went ahead and we got that bracket out, and we've already exposed the access point. That's actually a good sign, so we're making good progress. What we're gonna do at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and move to the driver's side. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the driver's side, where I'm gonna pull the carpet and remove the bracket. And if you notice, when I remove the bracket, there's this big cavity. That's an access location right there. That's the route that we're gonna take to run the power leads and the coax cable for the GMRS radio. But I'm not gonna, you know, go through the whole process with you again, since you already saw it. It's the same thing on both sides. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the carpet on the driver's side, remove the bracket, and we're gonna keep on going from there. Just hang in there for me. Alrighty, let me go ahead and give you a little update on this bracket. This is the one from the driver's side. I went ahead and removed it. And that 16mm nut that I removed on the passenger side, there's actually no need to remove it. Let me show you this bracket, because that's what you're gonna be looking at right here. Here's the nut. Look at the back. That is a rivet nut. That's really just there. I don't know why it's there. Maybe an extra ground for whatever purpose that Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, or whatever they decided to use it for. Maybe some future accessories that they install, or something that you decide to install, maybe use as a ground. Not sure, but really there's no need for that 16mm. All you need to handle is the two 10mm fasteners per side. But at this point, we're actually ready to route the power leads through the access port, and we're gonna keep on moving forward. Alrighty, so before I get back inside the passenger side of the passenger compartment, I'm still gonna mess with this lead right here for the power. As I mentioned, it's got a cigarette lighter adapter on it that we're not gonna use. Put that down. I wanna make this a more permanent, fixed kind of power source. So this is the end. It gets plugged into the GMRS micro mobile. Here is your cigarette lighter. Just go and snip that guy right off. Appreciate your service, buddy. I don't need you no more. And there it is. Not all I have. The power cable. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to the micro mobile end, and then fish it from the passenger side to the driver's side, and from there we're going to continue to route the cable. Alrighty, so back in the passenger compartment. This is the lead on the micro mobile and the lead for the power source. Now, I don't know how well you can see that. Where are you? There you go. You can see it only goes one way, because one of the connectors is round and one of them is square. And of course you have the clip on one side right here by my index finger. And that's how we're going to connect it to the micro mobile. We're going to match it up and then slide it together. That's it. She's in. Alrighty. So now the route from the end. We're going to run this. Let me see. If I can pull some of this carpeting, that'll be perfect. Check all good. I'm going to close it back up. Oh, that's going to be perfect right there. There's enough slack for the cable there. And run this to there. Oh, I do see a light. So I should be able to run this without an issue or a hiccup in any way. Let's see if I can pull it from the other side. No, I'm gonna have to run around. Let me take a look. Alrighty, so we're back on the passenger. I'm sorry, the driver's side. Let's go ahead and pull the carpeting down. And here is my wiring. That's enough to pull it through. Oh, it's wonderful. And we have our fuse exposed. So if we ever have a fuse issue, it's gonna be easily accessed. All right, so now from here, we're gonna go ahead and do a few more things as far as like cable management and whatnot. Now it's evident right now, we have enough to route a little bit, but this is the end of the cable. we don't have anywhere else to go. So we're gonna need to add some black and some red to that, which is cool. That was part of our intent anyways. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more prep, and then we'll keep going. Alrighty, stay on the driver's side. I don't know a lot of JL owners, except my wife and some few members in my club, but all the JK guys like me, we have this panel directly under the steering column. We're gonna remove this. This is not 100% necessary to remove, you know, but it's gonna give us a little access to a little bit more view of what we need to look at. And it just pops right out. You don't have to worry about fasteners or anything breaking. All the clips are plastic. And what we're looking at is this area down here, because you can see the wire from there, and that's going to help us with some cable management. Now, one guarantee is, yeah, we can take advantage of, let's say this right here, tie something down with a zip tie, or these right here, tie something down with a zip tie, and that's perfect. Because what we're going to do is we're going to run it back here, cable management, the whole thing with some zip ties. We're going to add more cable to this fella right here, and then we're going to go from under the dash. Let me see if I can get a better shot here. I'm going to go from under the dash right here up along this panel. So we're going to remove this panel. I'm going to get me a one of those plastic trim tools. We're going to pop this off. So we're going to run it up along here, and then there's a port actually leads to the other side of the firewall from here. So what we'll do is we're going to get ourselves prepped. I am going to get myself a couple more tools, and we're going to keep on going. Alrighty, so I got my plastic trim tool that I normally use for panels and whatnot that are sensitive and I don't want to scratch them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pop this off right here. Let's see if we can find a nice area to work with where I can actually wedge this off without, you know, kinds of ding-a-ling and making a foobar mess of everything. And those of you older fellas like me, you know what foobar means. You know, it's a term that's not used anymore. Okay, so what I did is I pushed over here. This is able to flex it enough so I can just pop this guy right off. Okay, so we've got some foam on there. Got one more clip, I didn't get the guy off. There you go. Okay, and it's all plastic, just like the one in the center. So then just leave it on the driver's seat. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run the wire cable management over here, run it under the dash. We're gonna go up alongside. Now we're gonna tuck it back there. We're gonna run alongside this over here, going up this way. And up here where my finger is. And that's gonna be an access area. So at this point right here, I'm gonna prep the outside first before I start to run leads. Because this is my method. I'm gonna add cable to this and then start to run this up. But as far as the coax cable, I'm gonna start it from the other side, and I'll show you why in a moment. Let me go ahead and get on my business prepped, and I'll be right with you. Alrighty, so before I continue forward with the cable management on the inside, as far as like the power cable for the GMRS, I'm gonna prep the outside, and I have a specific reason for doing it this way. So let me go ahead and prep the outside. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove that cowl. I'm gonna just expose the area for what I need to work with, and then I'm gonna start to prep for the other end. And I'm gonna get back to the power leads a little bit later, not too far. But like I said, there's a reason or a method to this madness. So let me go ahead and pull this off. All right, and this is a T40. This is actually part of the toolkit that came with the Jeep. It was easy to find something I didn't have to dig for, or freaking out that I don't have a T40 in my toolbox. Being since the tool came with a Jeep, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Okay, that's one. Two, put that down. Cowl should come right off. Get a little something, just amazing. I don't believe so. I just have to remove these top two, but just for laughing giggles, I'm gonna do that anyways. Just to make sure I'm not gonna destroy anything along the way. And it's really just to cover my backside to make sure I haven't done anything wrong or missed a step. You know, and if it is these two, then it's a good thing I checked. You know, again, this is another one of these sources. Oh wow, these are definitely longer. But this is another one of those sources that you could use like an electric drill or something pneumatic if you're skilled with lightly doing something pneumatic. You know, but I don't have those resources here in my place. So almost scratched the paint. All right. So now we got 2 and 2. And that's what it was. So you got the 2 on the side, the 2 on the top of the, I want to call it the header panel where the windshield wipers are. Just take all those 4 out and this panel comes right off. So we're going to go ahead and put this to the side. And of course I put that inside the garage so it doesn't get damaged, or I don't want to drop it. And like I said, I almost scratched the paint. At the end of the day, it's still my wife's Jeep and I don't want to hear it. So, alrighty. Now you have this foam area right here, which is pretty convenient. You got some wire lead going through it. And this is going to lead you to believe it's going towards the firewall. Now we need to follow this to see where it's going. That's this one. That's this one. Where you going, buddy? I need to be able to find it so I can chase it. This might be in a stuck position. I really don't want to go through the hassle of removing this header panel for the windshield wiper arms, because that one is a pain in the backside sometimes. There's several different ways of pulling off the wiper arms, but there is a specific tool for it, and it's best to be careful when you do it like that. I've done a couple of these. I've broken one. But of course, if I don't have the proper tool, I don't want to do it. But just keep on looking for this lead. Where's it going? I need to find out how it's routing through the firewall. Oh, there's another way of doing it, of course. I could always go through a plug. As a matter of fact, let me show you this plug. Okay, so now, another alternative. You see down there, where are you? It could be below power booster for the brakes. There's a plastic plug in this area here somewhere. And this being, here it is, I found it. It's like right under a power booster. Yeah, it's a little plastic disc. Now, without trying to find the route that I'm trying to go through, you know, that's an alternative. This one being an automatic transmission, I don't necessarily need that access. What that access port is used is actually the clutch pedal on those vehicles that have a manual transmission, whether it's 6, 7, 8 speed, whatever they are nowadays. I don't know. I've been driving automatic since the 90s, man, so, you know. But if I can't find the port that I'm looking for to route the coax cable and the power lead, I'm going to want to go in that direction. I'm really not trying to, because I want to keep the wires more hidden. But let me try and find them. Alrighty, so I actually found the route I was looking for. I guess I was just overthinking it. But let's go ahead and do a little bit more prep. We're going to need our coax cable, or yeah, our coax cable for the antenna. And let's go ahead and open that up. Now, this is going to be the fun part. And I'm going to show you a little something about these antennas. Or this antenna coax cable. It's actually very neat. Kind of like it. It's I love the design. It makes it easy to work with. Okay, so now you got, of course, both your ends. It's a pretty long cable. Let me unwind this guy because we're going to need it. And of course, there's going to be excess cable, so we're going to go ahead and hide as much as we can. Eventually, everything will be hidden, and we're just going to tuck away what we don't need. But you want to be careful with this cable, because just like anything else, you know, you don't want to kink it or bend it where it breaks and the cable's no good. And for whatever the cost of the cable, you don't want to buy yourself another one just because, you know, you got a little goofy with it and you decided to break it for no apparent reason. You know, and I'm sure there would have been a smarter way for me to unwind this, but you know, I got a little hasty as I was speaking with you. But it's all right. We're gonna go ahead and get this all fixed up here. One thing about me, most of y'all know that I'm a professional IT guy by trade, so working with wires and cables is something I do a lot, and I be as careful as I can, because I don't want to have to They say replace something I broke or have to pay back my customer for something that was my fault just for being stupid and hasty. Yeah, so we're gonna do the right thing. Let's go ahead and extend this out first, and then I'm gonna get to the good stuff here. So let's. Hey, look at that. Zoom on pretty good. Let's make sure it's straight. That's not straight. Let's move this guy out of the way. Let's unwind that. Wonderful. Okay. Let's go ahead. Okay, rock on. We are golden. Okay. So we got, of course, we got both our ends. You got the coax cable that's going to tie itself to the back of the micro mobile, and you got this end right here that's going to go ahead and attach itself to the antenna. Now, let me show you how this works real quick. Now, for all intents and purposes, as you're going to go ahead and tie this up to your antenna, you got a pretty big fastener right there. But if you get an actual really good one, the big part comes off. And then you have this little plastic spacer right here. And then you have this little, I don't know what you want to call this other spacer type, but it's got like little claws on it. And there's a reason for that. Like, let me show you where is my other little device. It's that bracket that I was talking about earlier. I have it here. Oh my goodness. I've become such a dork and misplaced it. Here it is. Oh, it's right in front of me. Haha. Okay, so we're going to use this guy to tie it onto the rear bolt. And in fact, let me get this right here. So on the cowl itself, we're going to use the rear bolt. So really, this is going to look like that. It's going to mount just like that. This actually came with a longer bolt and a little ring spacer back there so that we don't crush it as we're tightening it down. And the nice part about the bolt, it was supplied with this bracket. It is also a T40, so it's going to match the head of the original one. So it's going to give it a nice original equipment look. Okay, let me go ahead and put that down. So with this end completed, disassembled, it's going to go in there like that. We'll put it in. We're going to grab a little plastic spacer that this came with. So a lot of times, depending on the make of the bracket, you can actually, no, but it won't slide in, and that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and put this here. Spacer goes on there, just like so. And now with the bigger nut, you're just going to spin it on. Now there is a science to this, which is not too bad. Oops, and I messed up already. Goodness. Let me show you what I did here. Let me go ahead and take this back apart. I'm going to take the spacer off, take my bracket off, and it's just exposed. Now what I did forget is that one other bracket I showed you, the one that's got the little claws on it. You have to have that one. So let's go ahead and put that on there, just like so. It's going to fit flush. It's not going to move around anywhere. All right, so now the bracket back on there. Turn this around so you can see the assembly. I'm going to hold it like this. Maybe it'll do me a little better. Okay, so now that I got this on there, I'm going to get a little black spacer it came with. Now there's no real assembly instructions, so I'm going to make it as flush as possible. And now I'm going to grab this bigger one. Now all this assembly right here, this is all copper, so it's like, I know it looks brass, it's not, but that's the idea that we're looking at. So this is going to be the bracket that's going to be attached to the cowl, and that's how you're going to assemble it. And then from this point, you're just going to tighten it down, and you'll tighten it down just enough so it doesn't move around everywhere. I don't like the way that looks. It's probably upside down, but the antenna itself, the 6 decibel antenna, the base of it, it's got a deep enough recess to hide all of that. So as a matter of fact, let me expose it right now. Man, I am horrible for opening up packages, ain't I? Probably where my wife does all the shopping. She loves opening shit up. There we go. And there she is. All right, so technically, when this is assembled in the vehicle, it's gonna go in there and it should hide the whole thing. Now, I'll definitely tighten it up once it's mounted on there. I just wanna make sure it gets all done right, but this is pretty much what we're looking at. Now, it is a little taller than the 2.5 decibel gain antenna, and it is definitely taller than the Ghost antenna, but even the Ghost antenna is only a 3 decibel gain. I really wanted to go with the 6 decibel gain for the distance that we drive or how apart from each other my wife and I will be when we're trailing. I may have mentioned earlier in this one or in another video that we do ride trails together. Sometimes she leads, sometimes I tail, just to keep it going like that. But for good reception and communication between the both of us, that's how I like to keep it. Now, there's another fascinating or neat feature that they built into this cable, and that's the other end, the coax. Now, this is a pretty big end right here. Now, you're probably wondering, oh my God, how are you going to get it through whatever little port area that you found? Well, nice enough that this cable, the way it's made, the fastener for the end actually comes right off. I can get it out, get those doors. There you go. So it's completely removable, and that's the way it's made and designed. It's got this little male end connector there, that female can enter here. And being since now is dimensionally a whole lot smaller, it really changes the profile of this cable. So I can actually run it like this in a tight area and not have to worry about space. So what I'm going to do at this point is, let me go ahead and take this apart because we're going to do a little mock-up. Okay, put that there. A little spacer there, in there, and that. Now, let me show you what I found and how we're going to go ahead and route this. All right, after taking a minute of looking at it, of course I was overthinking it earlier. What we're going to do is as we got this area exposed, I'm going to go through this area right here. There's a little bit of foam. We can go actually in between the windshield and tuck the coax cable enough where it's out of the way. What we're going to do, and what I did is, this panel right here, I peeled it back enough. The cable will fit through here, it'll run down here, and what I also did is, using that same trim removal tool, the lower kick panel, I went in and I removed it also. Gives me a little bit more area to route the cable, and it's going to make it happen. That being said, I am ready to go, so I am going to first do a little mock-up on the cowl right here. Make sure I get my cable in there. I'm going to kind of wedge it in here. It's not going to be pinched. It'll be wedged enough where it's out of the way to still look discreet. I'll run it up here, and then we'll keep on going. Alrighty, so here we go. I got my cable ready. I've located my area. Like I said, I'm going to run it right up in here. Now, you gotta keep in mind that you can pull back some of the foam, but this is still weather stripping. You're still going to keep the other elements out. So you pull back, but pull it as much as you need without pulling too much. Now, what I'm doing is, I found it. See if I can. There it is. Alrighty. Let's just keep on running this cable. But first, I'm going to do it carefully. I don't want to damage what I have here. Now, I'm also going to keep in mind that I have to remember this very specific route, because this is the same way I'm going to route the power cables, with the positive and the negative. Those are the wires that I'm going to add to my existing. And the route that I'm using right now is this windshield channel. It's perfectly fine. Typically here in Nevada, it is so dusty. We generally don't roll down with the windshield down anyways. And it's such a neat feature to do, but I really don't know who does it. So yeah, I'm not gonna go in that direction. Now I'm pulling it back a little bit. I wanna make sure I have enough cable so I can do my little mock-up over here. As a matter of fact, right now is a good time for that mock-up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna slide this fella back into place. Make sure all the holes line up. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Make sure all the holes line up. And that's gonna be there. So let's just pretend I was doing the whole mock-up thing. Now, I've got this one spacer. This is gonna go right here in this insert. And then I'm gonna put this fella back in there. So let me try and see if I can sandwich it all together and be smart about it. Now, the actual slot with it goes is very adjustable, so you can adjust the height however you want it. So, and I just want it enough where I have enough cable to do what I gotta do to make it fit, make it look nice. Because the goal is to finish installing the GMRS, but one of our visions is to be discreet about it. Okay, so I got this in over here. I'm gonna put this little guy with the claw on it. Put him on there. Got that little spacer. Now let me talk about the spacer for a second. You got a bigger end and a small end. I'm gonna put it to what it looks like upside down because the way this fits is the bigger side does recess in there. That's how it fits. So it has to go on like it practically looks upside down when you're installing it, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna put that on there. And I'm just gonna like hand tighten just to make sure everything fits right. There you go. Got some grab on it. Now, as a mock-up, everything looks, all holes line up, everything's good. This is wonderful. As a mock-up, this is perfect. So that's how it's gonna sit. We're gonna mount the antenna right here. I mean, it's so close to the A-pillar anyways. The antenna is probably gonna be about this tall, but you're not even gonna see it really because, you know, it's so close right here. But all right, we'll leave that there for the moment. Let us take a look at how we're gonna route it from the inside. All right, now looking at it from the inside over here is where my cable lined up at. So I'm gonna tuck it right back there. There you go. And it tucks very nicely. So, and now for removing the other panel down here at the bottom was definitely an advantage. Now we can go ahead and get it moving. Let me grab the hand over here. This is the side. Let me get some of that sticky stuff off of there. I just don't want anything to interfere with my connection when I put the other end back on it. Okay, so I am going to send this lead back to the access port from the driver's side and have it end up on the passenger side. Let me go ahead and grab that real quick. Okay, so it should now, and it does, it shows up on this side. I'm gonna pull as much as I can, still being discreet about it. I don't want to yank on it, because I still have to do the whole cable management end of things. Okay, so I'm at the limit, and I still have to pull some back. Okay, so now what that means for me is that this guy is going to go back here. Oh, this will actually be perfect. I can put it right here, right here. Oh, right on, that'd be great. Can do that, and it hides very nicely. So, tell you what. Give me a sec, let me get a couple of zip ties. We'll tie it up right now. Okay. Oh, thank God for zip ties. So, there's one. And just for giggles and laughs, tie it up over here in the end. Yeah, gotta keep it well hidden. And that's what we're trying to do, discretion, man, discretion. and it's enough just to tie off the end of the bracket so it doesn't let it loose and you know, let it dangle around. But the cable is still loose enough where it has its own free play. So this is wonderful. What a great setup, my God. Looks beautiful. I'm sure my wife's gonna be happy. All right, so now, from this point, we're gonna run back to the passenger side. Let's take a look how we're gonna tie it up over there. Alrighty, so now here on the passenger side, we're gonna take our cable, got the little smaller profile, whereas we got the bigger end that actually ties into the back of the GMRS or the Midland. Let's go ahead and mate them back up together. Now remember, one side is female, one side is male. So that little stem in the center, you have to make sure it goes down the center of the female end. You have to be delicate, you know. It's just like running cable, like any other cable. You just want to be careful. You want to do it right. So let's tie that up good first. That should be good. Now from this point, all I'm going to do, if I can squat down here, is I am going to locate the back of the GMRS. Where are you? You bastard. Here it is. So I'm just, oh, pick that up because I dropped it like a fool. I am going to locate the back of the GMRS. I'm just going to screw this in there. And that's all that really is. Just tying it in. And it's the same concept idea. You got the male-female connector. You just put them together and tighten them down. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm tightening this one down. You know, you don't have to go to town on it like He-Man or Hulk Hogan or whatever strongman you idolized at one point. Okay, so now that's tied down. Antenna technically is definitely connected, but you do have this excess of cord. So what we're going to do is in that same access port where the wires went through in between passenger and driver under the dash, we're going to roll up the excess and just hide it in there. And that's going to contribute to our excess discretion. The rest of this cable, we can tie it down or hide it under the carpet and it'll never be seen. And that's pretty much what it is. So at this point right here, we're going to put a pause on this cable so that we can add more wire for the positive and negative. In fact, that's what we're going to do right now, because we're going to use the same routing method like we did for this coax. So we're going to follow that same route and finish up as fast as we can. Alrighty, technically the passenger side's already set. I already went ahead and I put the carpet back. I tucked all the wires, everything's good. Let me reflect back to one thing I mentioned earlier, and I now know where I made a mistake. It's still about this thing, and I was wondering about this black nut, the 16 millimeter. As I was putting the carpet back, I realized this is where the carpet snaps into. So, you know, little by little, as I'm taking a look at everything now, it's making sense what I'm doing. But yeah, that's all. This thing definitely has a purpose. It is intentionally put there. It is for that button snap for your carpet. The one that I pulled back, now it snaps back in place. It's all perfect. So at least, you know, now I know, and hopefully now you know too. If you already knew and you were calling me a ding-a-ling or a dumbass earlier, hey man, I'm sorry, I just figured it out. But all right, let's keep on going. Okay, so now, this is gonna be another fun part here. We're gonna splice some wires. Now, this wire right here, for the one that I snipped off the cigarette lighter adapter, it is a 20 gauge or a 20 AUG. I don't have anything so thin. The smallest one I have is an 18 gauge, which is fine. We're gonna use with that. To what I understand, and I know nothing really about electrical work, electricity, but it should be, to what I understand, it should be the same size or thicker. Don't go smaller. You know, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and snip these ends, splice them together with some butt connectors, and then I am gonna run it up a pole, as they say, run it up a pole. All right, so I got my butt connectors on the one end over here. I'm gonna take some of this wire and I'm gonna strip it to crimp it to these butt connectors here with the appropriate red or black, whatever they may be. And then I'm gonna follow the same route. I'm gonna run this upper pole here, run it down, and I'm pretty much gonna go the opposite way like I did the coax cable to get into under the cowl area and then into the engine compartment where it can run the wire all the way to the battery. All right, here we go, man. It's a little hot here in Vegas, but yeah, we're gonna get it done. Let me go ahead and get this part done, and I'll get back to you when I'm up in the engine compartment. Alrighty, the wiring is about done for the micro mobile. I went ahead and I reversed my steps from running the lead for the coax cable, and I ran the positive and negative power wires the same way, only in reverse. Let me give you an idea of what I've done. It's I'm going to start with the passenger side. I'm going to show you how I ran that, and it's already buttoned up, but I'm going to give you a really good idea of what I did. Alrighty, so let's take a look over here. Now, I demonstrated when I ran the coax cable and I buttoned everything up. It's all hidden under here, and it's all run under there where I stuff it under the carpeting. You can't even see it. The regular passenger who just puts his feet and his knees here, they're not going to see a thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the driver's side. Okay, so the same thing on the driver's side. Once I finished running the leads, I went ahead and I tucked it all, put the carpet back, and of course I put all the paneling back, as you can tell. But it's all run reverse, how I did the coax cable. It ran down here, put this panel back. I ran the wires up here again. And in fact, you can see the red and the black right there, which you'll never see when the door is closed. Now let's take a look at another part here. It actually came out from here. Ooh, I gotta retuck that. I'm gonna fix that in a minute. But the cable lead, I went ahead and I adjusted a little bit more of an angle to keep this nicely tucked. The door doesn't interfere with it. It's all good. I just gotta put the antenna on there. And the positive and negative are coming through here. You can see them right here. Probably not the best wiring job. I couldn't find anywhere else that would possibly be safe to run the wires. I took advantage of these points all across the firewall, and I ran it all the way across. Let's get over there to about here. And then, yeah, I still gotta cut that zip tie, but I tied it down here. Got another tie down here and here. The positive, I mounted it there. The negative, I mounted it right there. It's pretty much good to go. I just need to turn it on and test it, make sure everything's good. And I will snip those ends right there. But before I do, let's do one more thing. Now, before I finish buttoning it up, I'm gonna talk to you real quick about what I did when I was running the wires from the inside driver's compartment, or the driver's side, going up the fuse panel side. And there was that one area from inside to the outside. It was really, really tight. And of course, the 18 gauge wire that I'm using is very pliable, very flexible. It bends real easy. So what I did is I figured, let me just try and fish for it, but I don't have any kind of rod or an old school wire hanger. So I used the zip tie, which is still stiff enough that I ran it through there. I taped the positive and negative, or the black and red, to one end, and then I pulled it out, and that's how I fished it out. And while it was still all attached like this is how I ran it all the way across the firewall until where I needed it to be, and I just cut off the excess. And I got quite a few feet left. I probably got about 25 feet left, so I'll just roll it up and store it for the next job if I need 18 gauge wire. I mean, I still got an abundance of 14 and 16 gauge, but that's going to be too heavy for this job, I think. Like I mentioned before, I'm not an electrician. I don't work like that. I just want to do it right. I want to do it right the first time, because Lord knows everybody hates going back to do a job twice. So okay, we got all that mounted up there. Let's go ahead and mount our antenna. This is going to be a nice little one over here. Now let's go ahead and grab this. I'm gonna walk you there. I'm gonna show you. Oh goodness, I'm all clumsy over here. Let me lower that a bit. That'll do. Okay, so when I fit this over here, I put this at an angle. I remember the part with the claws, that little clip. So then that's just to grip the metal so it doesn't slip. But I put it kind of like maybe 25, 30 degrees to give it some kind of angle. It's going to keep this cable a whole lot more discreet, a lot tidy. I tightened this enough to keep it in place, but not over tighten where I'm going to kill it. You don't want to do that. So now, all I got to do is mount this bad boy right here. And let's see if we can get it on straight so we don't cross the threads. As I mentioned, it is copper, so you don't want to, there we go. You don't want to destroy it now. Right on. Cool. Looking beautiful. Alrighty. And now the last thing to do is to mount the microphone on the inside. So let's go ahead and take advantage of that. Let me take you back inside with me. Because it's going to get a bit warm in here. Let me bring this back up because I feel silly looking at the ground talking to you. Okay, so really I believe we're about done. We just gotta, mount this guy. And as I mentioned before, there was a little unconventional way that that Patty, my wife, the way that she wants to hang this on V-notch. So we're gonna show you how that's done. Alrighty, so from inside a passenger compartment on the passenger side, we got our radio, of course the handheld control that has everything on it. And before I mount it where it's supposed to be, let's go ahead and connect the Ethernet part of it. So I'm gonna feel for it again because now it's so under there I can't see it. I'm trying to remember. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit of clip up. Let us locate it. That's all right. We'll pick that up. All right, it's plugged in. Now, let me show you the funny part. This is the part that I find really, really entertaining. If I can just angle this, I'm going to show you what Patty's idea is. Okay, so. Okay, good. All right, so now I've had this little item in my possession for quite a while. Now, this is one of those retractable lanyards for CB mics that the truckers use. You pretty much pull on it and it retracts back. And Patty has been using it for a little while and she's been loving the use of it. So that's what I'm gonna do for her. I'm gonna mount it up there so it's gonna be dangling just like that. And when she picks it up, she's ready to go. Let's take a look at it from the other side. Let's see how it looks from the driver's perspective. Okay, so at this point we're sitting in the driver's seat and it actually looks kind of neat. To me a little off, but still a little neat. And I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. Let me flip this camera. Okay, as you'll notice, the I don't even know what they call that strap. It is hanging there. The mic is dangling. This is pretty much her speed, the way she likes to do things. Yeah. But she has another hanger right here. Her handheld radio is a Baofeng UV9G. It also has the button style hanger like this one here, so it slides in there real easy, good for a storage place. And she's got like a stupid long antenna on it, which she really enjoys. So this right here is really her speed. I don't know if it gives her the whole big mama trucker lady kind of feeling, I don't know, but it works. It's exactly what she wanted, the way it is. We just need to make sure it works. So let's go ahead and we're going to start up this vehicle and see what we got going on. And I'm going to turn off the radio, of course. I'm going to make sure that we get no interference whatsoever. Oh, that's dusty. Oh my goodness. Huh. Let's turn that off. Okay, I was just trying to make sure it worked. All right. So now, let's power it on. Ooh, it's on. Sweet. Oh, I can't hold this thing right. Let me, see if I can peel that off with my finger because I'm a little retarded. There you go. I'll pick that up in a second. Let's change. Let's see if it works. Patty, got your ears on? Patty, come back. Maybe she's not paying attention. because I went ahead and I left her radio powered on next to her desk. So she's probably wondering where's that noise coming from. Defiant the V-notch, come back.
Go for Vina.
All right, I'm happy to tell you your radio's working.
Oh my God, and this one's very loud.
Yeah, I think the volume is set high on your handheld. All right, Defiant out.
After that, over now.
Alrighty, it is suffice to say that my wife is very, very happy with her new radio install. She just needs to come down and check out my work. I made everything so discreet. The only thing that you can see that's visible is the mic and the cord for the mic. Other than that, I hit everything very well. Like, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but you know, I think I did a pretty good job. As I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna leave a link for all the items that I've used today, whether it's the micro mobile, the antenna, the coax cable, and the Velcro. You know, and of course, I'm also going to leave you a link for the fcc.gov. I'm still going to double check that. I believe it's fcc.gov. I'm going to find the correct one and put that in the description as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and of course, you know, join us on all our social platforms. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Defiant Jeep, and of course, all the other various platforms like Twitter or X, formerly Twitter. Let me see, Pinterest, Instagram, and various others. Don't forget to join us at www.desertwranglers.club. And of course, if for any of your merch, whether it be like Jeep performance accessories, camping equipment, or other merch in general, don't forget to join us at www.defiantjeep.com. We love to see you on the trail.